there, beautiful souls. Welcome back or welcome to The Hawk and I. My name is Lana Zelinsky and I work in the spirit dimensions. As always, in all my videos or all my live feeds, simply take what resonates and you're welcome to leave the rest right here. Happy Friday. Good morning or afternoon or evening, wherever you are in the beautiful world. I'm coming in to talk about the energy update for today and throughout the weekend. I did mention on Wednesday, good morning, come on in. Come on in and have a seat. Make yourself comfortable. Welcome. Hi there, Wes. KS. Good morning, good afternoon, or evening. Hi there. Good morning. Good to see you all joining me. A little bit of glitchy internet service here. The weather isn't 100% great or clear by any means. Come on in. Good to see everybody. Happy Friday. It has been a week. I'll give us that. It has been a week energetically. And I'm curious to know how you're all feeling this energy. I talked on Wednesday about emotional level energy and how we were going to be feeling some emotions, and perhaps we're seeing that in other people. Perhaps you've had some emotional folks around you or some intense energy. This week has been such a blur, says Kayla. It's moving. It's better morning now. Welcome that Kyle, you're so cute. So when I sat with spirit this morning, I did feel a little bit of a shift out of the intensity of the emotional energy. I felt it very intense on Wednesday, and to be honest with you, Wednesday, Thursday, I felt a lot of that emotional level energy, that opening up. We are getting closer to that blue moon that's coming in, and it is a super moon. So I did talk about that as well on Wednesday. It was an anxious week, says Diane. Yeah, KS, yes, I've been feeling more emotional and more moody than usual. So this is first of all very, 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 very normal for the moon energy that we are moving into. And what's kind of coming up for a lot of us that I felt in my meditation was a lot of this emotional energy that's shifting around, either within you or within other people. It's what is happening is it's we're trying to remove blocks is about the best way that I can express it. And we have a lot of blocks within us. Every single one of us has energetic blocks, or perhaps reprogramming, or perhaps just kind of things that need to be addressed and looked at and let go. And if you're feeling that, quite often what follows it is some physical body ache. So I'm curious to know how many of you have been feeling a little bit achy or a little bit stiff, or perhaps some muscle pain. There's a lot of energy that's trying to let go during this moon. Our higher selves or our spiritual selves or our soul, whatever word you want to use, is aware of what's happening energetically around us, and we're being kind of pushed into this space of it's time to move forward from that. It's time to reprogram. It's time to feel different. It's time to let go. Oh yes, look at all this. Look at all of this. Yes, whole body aches, pain, achy, my back and shoulders. Yeah, 100%. My wrists were aching yesterday. I've been feeling tired and sleeping a lot this week, achy and swelling. 100%. So what happens is energetically our physical body does respond, right? So when we're going through things from an energy perspective, and our higher self is saying, time to let that go. Time to try something new. It's time to look at that differently. When we kind of resist it, our physical body does respond to energy. So when you're kind of feeling that within your physical body, that's even like a louder call to say, okay, what's going on here that I need to either surrender, look differently, take a different perspective, change my lenses, if I will, or release it. There's so much going on in the physical world, not every day, not just in the last couple of years, but every day. Our experiences that we go through, we do hold on to them. And with this new moon and this energy, emotional energy that's been coming up this week for all of us, it's really going to get turned up louder. So over the next couple of days, I'm probably into next week as we get closer and closer to that moon. The other thing that came up in my meditation this morning is increased sensitivity. So and I feel that both emotional and physical. Like I feel like physically, like, sensitive. When I was doing my meditation, even my skin was kinda, like, feeling tingly and sensitive. I just felt very sensitive. So, just kind of sitting in that, giving yourself some time to just sit back and say, "You know what? I think it's time that I kind of lean into some kind of way of letting go." And for many of us, and part of it kinda leaks into the ego. So the ego likes a safe place. The ego likes familiar. The ego likes the expected outcomes. So when we kind of lean into where our ego wants to go, it's like heck no, I won't go. Right? I won't shift. Heck no, I'm not letting that go. It's safe. It's comfortable. It's known. Even if it's icky feelings, if it's comfortable icky feelings, like we've been there for a long time or we've had a long experience with something or somebody, the ego says, "Oh yeah, but it's safe here and I kind of like it." Kayla, I feel sensitive too. Spring Hall, my lungs have been acting up more this past week. Harder to breathe some days. Not sure if it has anything to do with it. I always say if you're having any concerns with your health, always seek medical attention. But I also kind of blend into, okay, what is my physical body trying to tell me? So perhaps I need to let something go. So when you're feeling that, kind of lean into that, feel it. What is it that's coming up for you? Is there something that you've been kind of processing? Now, the other thing that came up for me is I when I was sitting in that meditation and spirit was talking to me about it, I suddenly had this reaction of, okay, I want to rush through that. Okay, that happened. I want to let it go. And spirit was like, no, 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 slow down. Just slow down and give yourself some time to process it. Take the full permission, take an opportunity. Sometimes we want to go through something uncomfortable very, very fast. And, that's exactly how I felt. I felt like I needed to kind of like spin through it really quick. And my spirit guides literally like held my shoulders and said, have a seat for a minute. Sometimes things keep coming up. And this was a very interesting perspective. Sometimes things keep coming up because we haven't spent enough time really kind of like pulling out that root or really kind of acknowledging the feelings. It's just the space that we need to kind of give ourselves a moment to process, right? And it comes back into that ego likes the safe place. So if it's something that we need to really kind of dig deep in, we may get pulled to kind of like, oh, I'm going to skip that, but it will come up as the repeat patterns. And you might see that over the weekend. You might want to be leaning into some things that repeat a little bit there. So that is kind of where we're at this weekend with a little bit of that achy, energetic, sluggish, emotional energy. It's kind of like coming up to its peak. So just kind of keep your head up through that, and remember that we're here to have an experience, and some of that experience is going to involve healing from past experiences, and those blocks and reprogramming is being asked to call forward. So those blocks, it's time to let it go, and that reprogramming, it's time to lean into your own higher self. What do you believe? What do you believe as far as your own spirituality? And to kind of give yourself that permission to spend some time in space there. I'm a big meditator. You all know that very well. So, some time in meditation, and what meditation means for you will also help you move through that, because sometimes we truly don't know how to move through that, right? So I will often simply always go with what resonates with you. Walking meditation is great. I'm a big nature person. I love to get out there and walk and let go. And I'll often stop and touch the earth, give things back, in a loving space. Whatever resonates with you. Guided meditations, if that works. Sitting with a candle quite often will help. I talk on Wednesday a little bit about the power of like a campfire, and being able to connect to that energetically as well. So whatever resonates with you, practice that pause, and just sit with how you're feeling and come back to that space of how am I feeling? And one thing with that, to have that self check in, is it helps going forward in the future, when rather than carrying that block with you, to be able to lean in there and say, you know what, this is how I'm feeling. I need to pause now and be able to process and let that go. I hope that all makes sense to all of you. Oh, here we go, a rising phoenix. Any tips for meditation to connect with your higher self? Well, one thing that I do, that really helps connect to my higher self is I will sit with my own heart space. I will come in, I'll just simply sit, I'll put my hand on my heart, and I'll just literally feel the rhythm of my heart because you know when you can feel or and just kind of lean in there with the essence of who I am and pulling in that vibration. The other thing is sit with the great vibes of who you are. Sit with how kind you are. Sit with how loving you are. Remind yourself of who you are. And that takes you in deeper and deeper and deeper into your higher self, into your inner being. And and kind I take not all questions, I take the spirit as well, but I will sit with my higher self with how do I truly feel about that? What does that truly feel like? And again, for me, it works coming into that heart space because that is the essence of who I am. That is, and I will often ask myself, and if you don't want to use the word higher being, inner being, or higher self, you can sit with what would spirit say or what would love say? How would that space within me look at this perspective? And it takes a little bit of practice. It takes a little bit of just simply allowing, and it does take a little bit of quiet time to give yourself that quiet time, that peaceful space. Taking yourself to a peaceful space is also very, very helpful. So wherever peace is found easily for you, some of it's at the water's edge, some of it might, if you don't live near the water, hit the bathtub or the shower. Go to that space, that element that brings you into that peace. It might be simply petting your pet, sitting petting your pet for a few minutes to get into that energy. And the more that we take the time to get into that energy, the easier it will be to go there more frequently, and sometimes even to go there just more naturally. I'm just going to respond from that perspective. I'm going to respond from my higher self perspective, and it will become more and more the essence of how you respond to things. Now remember, you got to give yourself a little bit of grace too. The word grace keeps coming up the last couple weeks. Giving ourselves some grace, reminding yourself that you're learning. I'm learning to let go of my blocks. It's that self-talk. I've talked a lot about that. Sometimes you have to talk yourself through it. And it's the same thing with the reprogramming piece. Sometimes we have to talk our way through that. I'm learning to think differently. I'm learning to have a new perspective. I'm learning. And when you soften that, you're giving yourself that grace, right? I'm having a human experience. I didn't do that very well, but I'm learning to do it better. So you see how different that feels, and that brings you into the essence of who you are. And sometimes, like, to be brutally honest, sometimes our intentions are of pure love and light, and it still ends up a gong show. So I will kind of like, oh man, that wasn't where I thought I was going with that. But what is that experience trying to teach me? What am I learning here rather than what mistakes have I made? Right? What am I learning here? And well, when we kind of do that with ourselves, we naturally hold that space open for other people. Oh, that person, I can see they're learning patience or they're learning compassion, and it's not up to us to kind of get in there and assess it and judge it or fix it, but they're learning that. Right. So, because we have to remember if we are going through an emotional energy thing and a shift and a release of blocking, so are other people. So and that's a big thing to be able to step back from in our own lane, and they're learning that too, they're releasing that too, they're shifting that too, and it just kind of helps support each other collectively, right? So let's see what the questions and comments this morning. Kayla, that's such a beautiful statement, Lana. Practicing to respond in the way your higher self would, and eventually that will become your reality. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I just want to kind of expand a little bit about that. We do, and I know there's going to be some throwback on this, and that's okay, but we do create our own reality, right? So and yes, the physical world adds to that, but what we align to, we create ourselves. Like attracts like. It's completely energy. If we're constantly focused on what's wrong, that's what we're going to continue to pull in. It's law of attraction, and not a new concept. There's a lot of literature and a lot of great books written on that. So just kind of put a little bit more attention in how powerful you are. Now, because we're coming into this big super blue moon, our manifestations are going to be quite elevated. So, taking some time to really look at what you want to bring in and aligning with that, aligning with it, aligning with it might be physical things, it might be abundance, and there's nothing wrong with that. But also the little the little things, but they're big things. I'm going to align with supportive energy. I'm going to align with loving energy, and the more that we put our alignment and our focus in that, things will start to shift and move. And probably about maybe 10 or 15 years ago, I kind of wrinkled my nose up a little bit with that and was like, well, yeah, okay. But when I really started to process it and when I really started to align with it and practice it, huge shifts in how I navigated through things, and things started to flow to me much easier than the whole resistant piece. So I encourage you to play with it. Become more playful with that energy. What do you have to lose by aligning with love and abundance and manifesting? I mean, there's nothing that's time to allow some releasing, allow some blocks to kind of like open up, just and simply reminding yourself, I can open that space up. I can reprogram what I'm thinking. Hmm. I do think this is going to get louder and louder. The closer we get to that full moon, like I said, I do think it's going to get louder. So if it starts getting louder, and if you start feeling that, just practice leaning into it. Okay, let me scroll up. I do have a little bit of time here this morning. I can't stay on too long, but I do have some time for some questions. So I am going to scroll back up. I try really hard to get to as many as I possibly can in the time that I'm on for. So let's see where we need to go here. And any comments or your own experiences are always welcome here as well. Anything that you have done that has helped, that has helped yourself move through, some emotions, or any spiritual practices that have been helping you, this is a great space to share that. I'm very much okay with all of us collectively helping each other. I've been feeling supercharged emotionally lately. Yeah. Sandra, I'm certainly feeling the shifting, big shifting. Um, Today has been hard emotionally, says Camilla. A lot of responses to the body aches and feeling that our physical body. A lot of people are acknowledging that. And I find that fascinating. Angela, here we go. Yes, achy swelling. A lot of you are really kind of leaning in there. Some headaches, sore shoulders. Um, I find that, it's fascinating how collectively we go through things. So, when again, I'll just kind of go back to that for just a brief moment. Your physical body's responding to energy that you're holding on to. Our physical body holds things. It holds stress, it holds anxiety, it holds worry, it holds all those those emotions. Our physical body holds on to that. So giving yourself permission to release that, and journal it. So start today. Give yourself permission. You don't have to wait for the full moon to let go, but start today. Fill up a bathtub with a little bit of salt, and just kind of I use the pink Himalayan salt. You can use Epsom salt or anything that resonates to you, and just kind of give yourself permission and your body permission to let go. Okay. And when we let go, just as a loving reminder, allow what needs to flow out. If it's tears, if it's that anger, that frustration, allowing it to come out and visualize it leaving your physical body. Um, yeah, there's a lot of body aches here. Okay. Haley. Hey, Lana, hope you had a great week. I was wondering if there are any messages for me. Haley, I'm really pulled to my spirit animal book to tap into that for you. So I'm just going to ask what you need to hear. I've landed on the eagle. Beautiful message here. There's an opportunity for you that you're considering, and it would be the best if you take advantage of it soon. There will be a new beginning in a positive direction following a recent period of strife, one that in which you've gained a great deal of stamina and resilience. Detach and rise above the mundane so that you're able to see your life and circumstances with a broader perspective and greater vision. Rise above it. Whatever's coming up, rise above it. I love that perspective. It's a great time for spiritual awakening and where you experience a greater connection to the divine. This is an important time to communicate with the divine for creative inspiration. So heed any guidance you receive. Whatever you put out, positive or negative, will now return to you in some form more quickly than ever. Law of attraction. Yeah, we did talk about that, didn't we? Um, yeah, I read that one already. A lot of yous are feeling the sensitivity. Camilla, I had a dream about my grandpa that did not feel like a dream. I'm wondering if he has a message for me. Camilla, as I'm reading that, I can feel a hand on my back, and I can feel that pushing forward. So have you been kind of, Camilla, um struggling with taking a step forward? Has there been an opportunity or something that's shifting with you that you've been kind of wondering if it's the right direction to go? Because I feel like he's trying to push you forward into taking a leap, taking a step. You know, even if it's a tiny step forward, I'm hearing him say, "Just take the step." So there's got to be something that you've been kind of marinating on about doing, or something that you're doing that you're kind of questioning, because he's very much supporting you with that energy of forward. The other thing is he's also doing, I can see you swaying back a little bit. So I don't know if there's something that you're afraid to fall, but his hand is holding you up with support. So either you're afraid of falling backwards or you're afraid of going backwards, because he's got his hand there with no, you're not going to fall backwards or take that step backwards. If that makes sense to you there, Camilla. Um, see where we need to go. Can you please tap into my dog, Sophie? I'm extremely worried she has an infection on her toe. Bone is also infected, caused by nail trimming. She's on antibiotics, but don't see improvement. Um, so I just always have to put in there, I'm not a vet or a doctor, so but I do feel that I feel that she's going to navigate through this, but I don't know why I'm feeling like there's going to be either a change in medication or an added medication, whether that be like a steroid or a higher dose in the medication. But I do feel like she's going to navigate through this. But I just feel like I have to push for a little bit of an extra, is how I feel. Like I keep having to add something extra to the treatment plan. But I do feel like she's going to move through this. I do, but I feel it's slow. I really do feel it slow. I also feel a little bit of, has that animal been expressing some pain? I feel like the my pain level is a little bit higher than what may be understood, if that's makes sense to you. I'll also send some love and some healing energy there to that dog. Uh Jolene. Jolene, when I kind of sit there with your energy just for a moment, I feel like there's been a fairly recent shift in how you're looking at something, and it feels quite good. I also have to really kind of acknowledge the work that you have done, the spiritual work, the personal work, the growth. But I feel like I need to like, not me, but you need to celebrate you. I feel like there's just this, I need to celebrate you. You need to celebrate yourself. It's very easy to kind of look at what we're not doing well, or perhaps what we perceive as not right with us. Because I feel like I need to shift out of that and give yourself a dance party in your kitchen. I feel like you can just turn on the music and dance. I feel like I need to do some self-acknowledgement there. I feel like you really need to kind of tap into that. Heck yeah, I'm doing great. I also feel there seems to be this shift in opportunities. Either you've been looking for new opportunities, or one's I feel like it's right there, but it feels like I almost feel taken back by it in a good way. Like, oh, how surprised and how glorious that is. So I just kind of have to keep you open though to allowing. So I don't know if you kind of hold things kind of right about there. I need to kind of like go with the flow, bring it on, bring it in, and I need to celebrate you. I hope that that makes sense there for you. Um, is it Lilith? I'm pulled here to the book. I'm opening up on the B. It's time to get organized and get to work on that idea that you want to implement and develop. Approach your projects with commitment, diligence, and dedication, and you'll succeed beyond your wildest dreams. Involve several others in a cooperative and life affirming venture. Oh, I'll come with you. I'll come with you. One on which everyone who participates will benefit, and if possible, one that involves an entire community. Oh, I love that. Remember with the animal communication, it doesn't, or the spirit animal book, the whole phrase doesn't have to resonate with you, but big pieces of it should. Um, KS, Lana, it was the anniversary of my grandfather's passing yesterday. He wasn't a particular good grandfather. I asked the spirit realm to keep him away from me, but does he have any messages? What I'm really pulled here, KS, is to. I'm having a listen for a second. Sometimes, quite often, for many of us, the lessons that we needed to learn here don't occur. And I feel that, like, I feel like I have a whole new perspective on your grandfather from the spirit dimensions. I feel like it's like a completely different version of himself, but it's almost like he missed the lessons, if that makes sense. It's but I also feel though that I have to look at him with some compassion and empathy on I want to say on three-quarters of it. I do feel like a big piece of it was a lot of choice and free will that he made in his physical lifetime, because we do have that. We do come here with a whole lot of choice and free will, and I feel like a big part of him kind of didn't have the knowledge or didn't want to see it, is if that makes sense. But I feel like when I look at his own lifetime and the lessons that he's going to have to come back and repeat, I kind of have to soften a little bit with that. But I don't feel like I feel like I have to that forgiveness piece. And remember, forgiveness is for ourselves, as you know, big part of forgiveness is for ourselves. But I feel like I have to let go of that. And I don't feel if we don't connect to a spirit, just kind of remember this, KS. If we don't really connect to a spirit, they won't push against that either. Right. So, he may from a distance send you love and light and healing and guidance, but they won't intervene in that. So I just want to kind of give you that as a loving message there. Um, let's see where we go. A lot of validation here this morning. Sandra, Sandra, I'm really pulled into a little bit of your self-care. So I would like to you to just consider, here's the advice that they're giving you this morning. It's just considering a little bit of TLC with yourself. I just feel like there's like I've got to give you an opportunity to kind of do you a little bit, whether it be for an hour or a day or an entire weekend or a month. I've just got to kind of turn the volume up a little bit about that. Energetically, for me, my spiritual gas tank feels a little bit low, and I feel like I've got to top you up a little bit. I can see my spiritual gas nozzle kind of plugging into you a little bit with giving yourself that, whether it just be to read a chapter of a book, whether it be just to sit with your eyes closed and listen to music. It doesn't have to be these great big profound things, but I feel like I've got to plug you in or top up your gas tank to recharge you a little bit. And I feel that um if if you kind of don't get in that regular habit, I don't know if you've been feeling more drained lately, but I'm feeling like this draining energy. So I just have to kind of lovingly support you in you too. You too. You too need to that TLC. What you give so freely to others, I need you to give that to yourself. And I have to increase that. I have whatever you're doing with your personal care, like I need you to increase that. Your spiritual self-care, I need you to increase that, if that makes sense. And it might be an extra hour sleep if you can get it in. That's kind of where I'm really, really pushed to kind of take you. Dee Dee, I did that yesterday, hand over heart, and cried, and I felt my inner mother embracing me. I love it. Funny that you bring that up, Dee, because I did a meditation that took me in a very different direction. Because I'll often just say, to spirit, take me where I need to go. And I had my inner child come forward during a meditation, and completely embrace me. And it was an incredible emotional space. And wasn't even sure what I was releasing, but I felt that just that inner child. I needed to sit with her. And that's another thing. Let me just kind of touch base on that. Sometimes with meditation, I'll just simply ask, take me where I need to go. There we go. Romy, I'm wondering how my friend, she passed away a couple years ago, is doing. I miss her and wanted to know if she's causing trouble in there. um, I can't help but to have that same mysterious chuckle that you released there. Um, I feel she's very much okay, and I do feel that very spunky energy. I do feel her around you a lot more recently, and I feel a big part of what she's trying to convey to you is to kind of lean into that spunk energy yourself. So I don't know if there's been like a lack of fun or lack of or too much serious energy, but she's kind of like, don't be afraid to have your own mischievous, energetic moments as well. And I feel that quite like that big push. So I'm not quite sure how much serious time that you've been leaning into, but I feel that push really hard into there. Sandra, super helpful info connecting with my higher self. I'm writing this down. Well done. Um, Jolene. Jolene, when I lean in there, I keep seeing the number four. So I have to address that. I can't move away from the number four. So either April being significant anniversary, birthday, passing, or the fourth of any month, or you one of four. He keeps showing me the four. I also I can see this real happy kind of dancing move with him, and there's just this huge freeness. So I'm really curious, was there a long illness here, Jolene, or was there a physical restraint for him in the physical world? Because I have to address this free movement energy, and he's pushing that with you with this whole freedom and dance while you're here. And there's this momentum of movement. I need to like, I just kind of have to. I'm swaying. I don't know if he's a dancer or he likes to dance or you like to dance, but there's this swayness, this energetic swayness. I also feel I he knows how much he's loved. So I really have to say that I know how much I'm loved. So I don't know if someone is struggling with that. Did he know he was loved? Did I say it enough? Did I show it enough? Was I there enough? He's very much, oh yeah, I know how much I was loved and supported and cared for. I also feel that either is this a bigger family or a bigger social group, or was his service like a lot of people? 'Cause I feel like a lot of people around him. I hope that makes sense there for you. Kayla, such a beautiful statement. I'll start practicing to respond in a way of your higher self. Absolutely. Kyle, I'm living on my own for the first time at this apartment. I fell in love with first. I fell in love first. What a time for this super moon. Do my guides have any messages for me? Kyle, it's glorious to, be in that space of living on your own for the first time. I remember, my first apartment, and, it was, it was very tiny, and it, was furnished, barely. But I remember that feeling of independence and that feeling of this is my space, and that feeling of peace, and that feeling of being proud. And I'm really encouraged to give you permission to feel all that, like to really feel all that. Feelings seem to come up for me a little bit here, Kyle. I feel like I've got to really kind of allow that feelings. So perhaps what I talked about earlier about allowing that energy and just kind of allowing yourself to feel. Kyle, I also feel really have to tap into. I'm I can see this wolf with you, and I don't know if this has come up for you before because I know but I see this wolf kind of navigating with you with this exploring energy, but there's this you're coming into a space of exploring. So it might be exploring new versions of yourself, it might be exploring those feelings, it might be exploring new places and people, and sometimes we explore on our own and sometimes we explore with a group. I feel like I need to kind of give you that more of that navigation system within you to kind of allow yourself to explore. And it's okay if you don't like it. Like I don't know why I have to say that to you, Kyle. It's okay if it doesn't taste great. You don't have to go back and do it again. I just feel like I've got to kind of like shrug my shoulders and say, "Oh, I'm going to try that once, twice if I like it." I feel like there's a whole exploring energy that's coming into an amazing alignment for you. And sometimes when and here's kind of how I'm seeing it is I'm seeing you kind of with your knee or your knee bent and your leg held up and just kind of putting a toe in the water. And that's okay. You can test the water and put your toe in, but don't be afraid to kind of explore. No, that felt a little cold, not really resonating with that. I just feel like there's something coming with you adventure wise and it feels really good, Kyle. And I've just got to let you explore. Right. And exploring can be difficult to do. And the reason it can be difficult to do is sometimes we have that, what if it doesn't work out? What if I don't like it? What if it doesn't go well? Just explore it. Heck, and I feel I can see you shrugging your shoulders a lot, and, perhaps that's something that you can try, Kyle, that'll kinda, like, just give you, "Well, okay, I'll try that." Just shrugging it off. So if things aren't going according to plan or things are wasn't exactly how you expected the experience to be, but I do feel a lot of adventure with this wolf that's gonna navigate some adventure, experience, and opportunities. I hope that that helped you. I do have to keep an eye on the time, you guys. Big thumbs up if you're enjoying your time here with me. I'm grateful for the thumbs up. Let's see where we need to go here. Sandra, I need to jump, but thanks, Lana, and everyone. Have a great weekend. Oh, here it is, Jolene. Okay, so Jolene, we loved him. We all feel we may not have done enough. Okay, so Jolene, that makes a lot of sense with what I was saying with him. Is he was loved and it was enough. Like I really feel that that is very significant to what he had said to me. You've got to embrace that. You really have to embrace that because he's embracing that. That's some pretty good validation. KS, I often forget about my inner child. I think many of us do, KS. I think many of us forget about that inner child or that inner teenager, or like that version of ourselves, that we navigate through our experiences with. Okay, Jolene, we are or we were a family of six with beautiful friends and extended family with beautiful partners, daughters-in-laws, and son-in-law. So huge love circle. Yeah, he feels that, Jolene. He knows that, and that's the feeling he's giving me when I connect with him. That's the feeling that I get from him is all that love and all that support. He's still showing me the number 4. So, there's something um okay, so if you were a family of 6 and you got 2 parents, so would you be one of 4? Is that the 4 that he's showing me? I'll give you a moment to answer that, Jolene, before I go. So, family of 6, 2 parents is 4. So maybe that's the 4, if you can just let me know that. Um, Diane, I often wonder why my kids pick me to be their mother. I have little patience at times. I think, Diane, I just kind of chuckle with that. I think we all lack a little patience sometimes, but your kids picked you for a very good reason. There was experiences that they needed to have with you. There was lessons that they needed to teach you, and sometimes it's all about you too. Maybe not all about, but they come to teach you things too, and we come into that space of soul family. We're going to come together. We're going to have our experiences, and yeah, they're not always perfect, and we can be impatient or intolerant or frustration. But you came collectively for a reason as a soul family. Kyle, wow, my best friend who is like a brother to me with identifies with the wolf and has a lot of plans to get me out of my shell. I'm very guarded, but I know I need to take a leap. What a beautiful message, Lana. Thank you. Kyle, you're very welcome. So you know what? Your friend identifies with a wolf. So you're getting your own. So you're gonna have you can have play dates with your wolf and lovingly. But that's Kyle, that's probably why I felt that there was a little bit of a hold off here. Enjoy the experiences, enjoy the adventure. And I literally seen like that I could just see your leg and your knee. It was bended like a bent knee. Yeah, I'm bending my knee like you can see it. Dipping your toe in the water. Enjoy the experiences, Kyle. And just have fun with it. Shrug it off if it didn't work out or resonate well. I do have to get going. I have a little bit of a road trip I've got to take this morning, and then I am working this afternoon. So I hope that you enjoyed your time here with me. I will be back. I'm not sure what my weekend's gonna look like. I am going with the flow this weekend, so I'm not making any commitments to do any live readings. But if spirit pulls me onto either YouTube or Facebook, I'd be grateful. Oh, some big news! Some big news. For the Readers' Choice Awards, I have made it to the final round. I'm very excited. For psychic medium. If you get an opportunity to vote, you're welcome to head over to the Readers' Choice Awards for Kitchener. You'll find me under people, and then you can cast a vote from there. Thank you very much. I cannot post the link. I'm not sure how many of you are aware, but there's been some change in Canadian laws. I think it's called Bill C18. Um, they're not letting us post any news feeds or news articles on our socials, and that's okay. I'm not going to get into a resistance or even have an opinion on that. It is what it is. Um, So if you are able to go over and have a look at that, I'd be grateful. Let's see where we need to go. Hey, Wesley, Haley once told a story of picking her mother when she was 2. We do pick our parents. We pick our the themes of our experiences. We come with a soul family, absolutely 100%. And some of us have had many experiences with the same soul family over and over again until we get those lessons learned. Thumbs up. Wishing you a glorious weekend. Happy Friday, and work on your releasing. Much love, everyone. Take care.